And welcome to the Sports Box. We're the only opinion that matters. Mother.
Serious?
Right here. I am Mike Galetta, a.k.a. Hamilton Mike. Accept no invitations. Along with my partner, Brian, the Ranger Retard, bringing you another solid special. I think I just threw my shoulder out with, too. And Start and Sit special. Today, we're going to obviously go over Start and Sit special. So, let me start with my starts.
Have at it.
Yeah, see that? I'm just going to lead the pack. Starting quarterback this week, I'm going to start that Joe Flacco at starting at home against Washington. Washington, the only really, defensively, the only time they've stopped a quarterback is the Browns' Cody Kessler. And that was a shootout. So, I don't see Washington. I don't think Joe Flacco is going to throw for 400 yards or anything, but I think he's going to have a solid game. Throw to Steve Smith, starting to hit him a little more. Dennis Pettit back in the mix. Definitely got to go with Joe Flacco.
I don't dislike that pick at all. I think that's a pretty solid pick.
You should.
You might dislike mine.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to recommend that you start Eli Manning this week against the Green Bay Packers. Now, he's had a tough start to the season,
yes,
but the Packers have been terrible against the pass so far, and I do think Green Bay's going to win the game, but this feels like a game where Eli kind of force feeds Odell Beckham to shut him up.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to throw the ball. Again, there has some injuries at running back. You're not really sure if Rashad Jennings is going to play or not. Even if he does or he doesn't, I think they're still going to throw the ball a little more. That's Green Bay's weakness. I like Eli's game here. I think he has a solid game.
What a distraction Beckham is this week. That's unbelievable with that, too. And I'm going to sit, people out there are going to laugh at this one, but I'm going to sit Jameis Winston because Jameis Winston is struggling right now. Absolutely. The guy's had almost eight interceptions in 2 weeks. I mean, he is struggling mightily this week. He's 29th ranked quarterback in the league. He's not doing his job. They're playing Carolina this week. Carolina defense isn't the same. I still don't want any parts of James Winston until he starts getting better.
Well, you got to think Carolina played better than last week, right?
Yeah.
I mean, last week was just a
hopefully the Hurricane comes in behind him and they can get some, power that way.
Yeah. As far as my sit at quarterback, I'm going to sit Brock Osweiler this week against the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings have had a nice start to the season, holding great quarterbacks to mediocre performances, and Brock's not a great quarterback.
No.
So if you have to start him, temper your expectations here. But you have another option, I'd encourage you to use it. Who would have thought that Houston actually wouldn't have solved their quarterback issues after giving him a big contract after going through that litany of crap they had last year? What a shame for them.
Did they get shut out by a third-string quarterback?
Yeah, they did get shut out by a third-string quarterback.
At running back, I'm going to start DeAndre Washington. I think it's a great start again with Oakland. I mean, Murray's out again. This guy's going to get some carries, especially against San Diego. San Diego gives up a ton of yards on the ground. And Washington has proved himself worthy of the spot. The guy's had 23 carries for 147 yards. He's averaged 6.39 a carry. Why not start DeAndre Washington? Get him. He's probably available in your league. Get him.
You're on fire today.
Oh, you're damn right. I'm always on fire.
I love it.
That's why I'm wearing a red today.
I'm starting Jerick McKinnon against the Houston Texans. The Texans struggled last week against the run. DeMarco Murray pretty much lit them up, and I'm not a DeMarco Murray fan. But without J.J. Watt, I think that Texans defense is going to struggle against the run for the rest of the year. And I think you can expect a big game out of McKinnon. He's been getting targets out of the backfield from Bradford. He's run well. I think he has a solid game. I think the only concern you have with a guy like McKinnon is that if they get to the goal line, do they put Asiata in there to bang it in? I mean, that's a concern. Even with that, I still think McKinnon warrants at least flex consideration, but second running back, I think he does well for you.
Here's the third straight week, 2 weeks with me, and once with you that we sat Jerry McKinnon on the bench, so I officially say Jerry McKinnon sucks. Okay?
I'm all in on Jerry, I'm starting him.
Drop him. Right?
Drop him.
Stinks. Stop it. Awful. Sit. We're going to start Jai. We're going to sit Jai this week from the Dolphins. Yeah, he's got some carries. Lamar Miller's been hurt. Things to that effect. But in the same... Did I say Lamar Miller?
I think you meant Arian Foster.
I meant Arian Foster. I'm so
the temperature in here is hot.
You said I was hot. That's what
killed
killed it. Yeah, exactly. Jai from Miami. I'm going to sit him against the Tennessee Titans this week. He's not getting it done. And now I hear he's splitting carries with Kenyon Drake. Ew. Got to get him on your bench if you have him in your lineup.
For the guys who drafted Foster this year, I think that's, everybody was questioning who would be the running back there.
You're rolling the dice again. Guys never stay healthy.
It's true.
Unbelievable.
Speaking of staying healthy, I'm sitting Tevin Coleman this week against the Broncos. Rumor has it that Coleman may not even play in this game, but if he does, combine a couple of facts here. They're going up against the Broncos defense, for one. You never really want to do that, as you know from last week.
Exactly.
But also, Coleman has a sickle cell condition, which hurts him when he plays in high altitudes. So even if he actually suits up and plays, I think it's going to be very effective for you. It has the makings of a disaster from that standpoint. So if Coleman does play, you shouldn't be playing for you. But if he doesn't, it's an easy decision. I'm still sitting Tevin Coleman.
At wide receiver, I am going to start the aging but ageless wonder, Steve Smith Sr., against Washington. At home, Joe Flacco's new #1 target along with Dennis Pitta. They get equal time. But Steve Smith's gotten, 8 8+ catches in the last 3 weeks. And they're playing a Washington team that gives up the 5th most points in the league, 8.8 yards per catch. And that's not after the catch either. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. You got to start C-SPUN this week.
I would like to start Julian Edelman against the Cleveland Browns. So you may have heard this rumor that there's going to be a quarterback change in New England. So Tom Brady starts the season in Cleveland. Do I really have to say anything more about this? The Browns have allowed a couple of 100-yard receivers so far this year. I think Edelman has just a huge day. I think all the Patriots have just a huge day. Listen, I don't know what their record is for points in the game. You might see it. Brady's going to just light them up.
So what's his percentage that he gets started on FanDuel this week? About 85%?
Tom Brady's going to be the DraftKings player of the week.
And off the subject here real quick. Tom Brady's going to come in with such a chip on his shoulder. It's going to be like a freaking barrel. Okay, he's going to want to wreck the league. Okay, and Cleveland, you're in for what Florida's in for.
This is just Hurricane Brady's hitting Ohio.
It's like a Cat 9 hitting. Okay, that's what it's going to be. Anyway, my
Cat 12.
Cat 12. It could be Cat 12. My sit player is going to be tonight's game. I'm going to sit Michael Floyd against the 49ers. Here's a guy who's getting less than 50% of the snaps right now. Palmer's out of the lineup. The Cardinals are dysfunctional. They're not moving the ball on offense. They got 2 running backs, well, actually 3, that kind of split all the time, and they don't know which end is up. But in any sense, I'm not starting Michael Floyd because he's not a good play.
What have I told you? I'm advocating sitting a universal first-round pick.
Wow. No.
I'm suggesting that you sit DeAndre Hopkins against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, a couple things going on here. This is mostly because of the defensive matchup, combined with the fact that I'm also sitting Brock Osweiler. But Hopkins has been such a disappointment so far this season, and I can't imagine that if you're going to pick a spot for him to turn it around, that it's going to be against Minnesota. Listen, if you have him and you can't bring yourself to put him on the bench, I completely understand. But walk into this with tempered expectations, which the last 2 weeks have just been brutal for you. I don't think he has a very good game against Minnesota, and I like him, but
that defense is nasty.
It is.
They're not letting anybody score right now.
There's comparisons to the '86 Bears right now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Tight end, I'm starting Zach Miller from Chicago. Here's a guy who's very underrated. You never hear anything about Zach Miller, but in 2 weeks he has 11 catches for 109 yards and 3 touchdowns. And they're playing an Indianapolis Colts team that can't stop me. And I'm pretty elusive, by the way. So, but you got to start Zach Miller this week. He might be available in your league. If you don't have him, pick him up. It's a great start this week.
And to your point, Kevin White's out for a period of time now, so they're going to need some more passing options. You might see Miller benefit from that. I'm advocating that you start Zach Ertz of the Eagles against the Detroit Lions. All signs that he's coming back this week from that rib injury. The bye week did him really well. The Lions have allowed a touchdown to every single team, every single tight end of every team that they've played this year. Let me rephrase that. Every team they've played, they've allowed a touchdown to the starting tight end. That's what I meant to say.
English here, folks.
That's what I meant to say. I do think that Carson Wentz looks his way. I can see he's getting a couple touchdowns here, so I really like Zach Ertz this week.
That's right. For all you Eagles fans that say we hate the Eagles, he's picking Zach Ertz, so go ahead and suck it.
I mean, I still do hate the Eagles.
Well,
I'm not going to lie about that. That's fine. It is what it is.
I'm going to sit Dwayne Allen of the Colts. I mean, here's a guy who's got talent. Since week 1, after he scored a touchdown, he's been 7 for 80. Okay, that's in 3 weeks. And here's the Colts team that's throwing a lot to Jack Doyle too. So you don't even know if he's going to get a lot of catches or not. So I got to sit. I got to sit Allen.
I think you should be sitting Jason Witten this week against Cincinnati. How about me starting an Eagle and sitting a Cowboy today?
That's pretty scary.
So far this season, I haven't noticed that Dak Prescott's done a whole lot of good for Jason Witten. I like the matchup here. I'm not playing him if I have him, but again, he had a very good rapport with Romo, and maybe when Romo comes back, Witten's more of a factor. But in non-standard leagues, in standard leagues, Witten's just not getting anything done. No touchdowns so far this year. I don't like Witten this week especially with Burfict back for the Bengals. I don't like it at all.
Defensively, I'm going to start those LA Rams. Yes, Vince Flukie, I'm starting the LA Rams against the Buffalo Bills. In LA, the Rams have played well, 3-1. Guess what? Their defense is keeping big games, and that's why they're 3-1. It's amazing. Didn't the Bucs lose to them? Anyway, the LA Rams, I think, are going to play this week. Rex Ryan, now on the hot seat, got to produce. They're not going to produce against the Rams. The Rams hold them pat.
That's an interesting game, actually.
Yeah.
The game out there.
What, the Rams are going to smoke them?
I'm not discounting that at all. They've been playing well against my better judgment.
Yep.
I'm going to be starting those Miami Dolphins this week against the Tennessee Titans. It's the first of a nice stretch of home games that the Dolphins have here. They're rested coming into it. They haven't played since last Thursday, and you got to think they're going to show a better showing against a team like Tennessee than what they've played so far this year.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of speed outside for the Titans. I don't think we're going to see a lot of deep passes there. So I think Miami could easily take one back for 6 off Marcus Mariota, who had an okay start to the season. They've been running the ball more, so I do like Miami this week against the Titans.
Oh, I know George Carnet's going to be happy with you.
Maybe they'll get a win.
Yeah. Well, probably not. But in the sit
He's
side,
not gonna be happy with you.
No, in the sit side, I'm going to start the Indianapolis. I'm going to sit the Indianapolis Colts. Like I said before, this team can't stop me, and I'm pretty freaking elusive, by the way. They're playing the. And who do I have here? Oh, the Bears. They're playing the Bears, and Hoyer. Not that he's a stud, and not that he's any better than Cutler, but they're going to be able to move the ball against the Colts, and I just don't think the Colts are that good. So. And they haven't been good for years.
Should get some points there.
Yeah. Sure.
I would like to sit those New York Jets against the Steelers this week. The Steelers blew the doors off of the Chiefs last week, and the Chiefs aren't a defensive slouch whatsoever. Nope. They're a completely different offensive team with Bell there. I don't think the Jets are going to... It's such not a good spot. And it sounds like Reeves is not going to play, which means Antonio Brown could just go ridiculously off this week. I just don't like the Jets against the Steelers this week. There's got to be better options. Even the Buffalo Bills might be a better option.
Although Reeves Island has been getting flooded.
Yeah,
he's showing his age a little bit.
It's not even in Florida anymore.
Yeah, well, he's showing his age a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. As you all love the kicker selection that I'm going to make, I like to take Matt Bryant this week from Atlanta. I think that gives him a back and forth, especially in Denver, and kicking in a mile-high city always adds a little bit of yardage to your kick, so I think it's going to be a stalemate if Atlanta moves the ball, they're going to kick field goals, you got to take Matt Bryant.
I like that insight there.
You like that?
I like that.
That's from a kicker's insight.
And again, I have no kicker pick. I'm not good enough to pick kickers.
Who got your kicker picks?
Whatever Mike says, go whatever Mike says.
Who's got your kicker picks? That's it. Yeah, that's all I do is make kicker picks. Well, that's all the time we have. Hope you enjoy another edition of Start and Sit. To all our fellow brethren in Florida and on the southeastern coast of the United States right now, please be safe. Major hurricane coming there. We hope you're watching in enjoyment and sitting in the safety of your house and everything's good. So just be safe with us. So keep an eye out. We got some good stuff coming.
And absolutely, if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at SportsBox Show. You can like us on Facebook and, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that when we do these videos every week, you know about it first and foremost.
That's right. Remember, at the SportsBox, the only opinion that matters. Still right here. Thanks for watching, folks. See ya.
Don't forget to subscribe.